Yes.
Hey, I'd rather be outside playing golf, but the second choice is in here with you.
That's right.
Talking to the people of Saluda County.
Yes. And tell us a little about who is Jim Moore.
Well, I came here in 1996 to teach
Mhm.
Navy GROTC. A lot of people still refer to me as Commander Moore.
Right.
And I guess that's always going to stick with me. I taught school for 17 years, retired, and then was on the school board. And then I started, I ran for county council in 2022.
Right.
It was elected.
Hmm.
I was elected to fill the remaining term for Jerry Strawbridge.
Hmm.
And then I was elected in the general election for my own term. So I am 3.5 years into this, and it's been an interesting ride. There's a lot of stuff I have learned, so many things that I had no idea
Right.
about being in this job. Uh, Foremost is how much time it takes to do the job right.
Yeah.
A lot of people think I just show up for the council meeting. No, last year I had 44 meetings during the day and 93 meetings after 3 p.m.
Mm.
with various groups from uh, the boards of directors for solid waste authority,
Mhm.
delegation, council, town councils. Uh, you just have to get out and do a lot of stuff. But it's been a busy 3 years.
Yes. And you decided to run for re-election, haven't you?
I did. I think that I am the best person for the job, not only because of my experience, because I have learned what it takes over the last 3 years. Um, but I think that I can bring leadership and guidance to people, to the county. I can steer the county. There's one thing that I need to be clear about.
Hmm.
The chairman is just kind of like a quarterback of the team, but
Right.
it's the whole team.
Right.
Alone, the chairman can do nothing.
Hmm.
A lot of people think I have a lot of power. No, I don't.
Yes.
The real power lies in the 5 people that make up the council. So, it's all 5 of us. All 5 of us working together. All 5 of us um, focused on the needs of the people of the county.
Hmm.
And I think we do a pretty good job of it. I know some people disagree.
Hmm.
Um, I know some people are wondering about the last capital project sales tax. I've heard all kinds of stuff. Well, no, they didn't finish it, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff. Well, the last project remaining is the detention center. And that should be done this summer. It should be done by summer. I'm
Right.
hoping to have prisoners in there by summer.
Hmm.
And that was something that had to be done. A lot of people don't understand that.
Hmm.
It was part of the 2026 capital project sales tax. It was voted on by the people in the referendum to build that. And something I learned recently that I didn't know. Back then, council and the capital project sales tax committee knew that there wouldn't be enough money, knew they would have to borrow money. So, why they didn't, I don't know. But it was a problem, it came up, it was something that we had to complete. So, yeah, I had to try to find lead counsel and to borrow in money. I didn't want to do that, but
Right.
we couldn't do the project. Originally, was they had allotted $8 million for it. What's a $20 million project? Just COVID, cost of materials,
Right.
all of this stuff. But anyhow, the bottom line is it's something that had to be done, and now we're getting it done, and it'll be completed. And I guess that's kind of what I do. I'm a problem solver.
Hmm.
I see something that needs to be done, I take action. Now, without the whole council, you know,
Right.
I would have done something faster because I'm not a very patient person
Right.
either. But it wasn't left to me alone. It's all of us. It's that whole council, and we voted, and we figured out how we could pay for it. They took some maneuvering. I mean, originally we wanted to pay for it with the 2023 referendum. I don't know if you remember that, but we wanted to do a municipal bond, and that would have been the cheapest, most economical way to do it.
Right.
And I fought myself for that bond not passing. And I'll sit right here and admit, I did not do a good enough job explaining that we had to do the construction, and this was the best way to fund it. So when people voted no on the funding stream, and that's another thing, some people think, well, we voted no on building the jail, the detention.
Right.
And I said, well, no, that's not what you were voting on. You were voting on how we were going to finance it. And I didn't do a good enough job explaining that. So then we had to find another way to do it. And we were able to raise the money, but it meant that we had to use tax anticipation note. We had to use our 8% money. It's really that's 8% of the value of everything in the county. And that amounts to about $5.6 million.
Right.
So, I mean, you can see think about this. $5.6 million is all the property value in the county. And it's really not a lot of money when you're talking about the county government, but we are a small rural county.
Right.
People like to compare how much we pay EMS or how we pay deputies to Lexington or Greenwood or Newberry. We don't have the tax base. You should compare us to Chesterfield or names left me just like that. But there's about 5 counties that are our size. Chesterfield pays more than we do. We're second.
Right.
To pay more, we have to raise taxes. But now, we have, since I've been in office, we gave county employees a 3% raise in 23. I have to be sure I'm telling you the right thing. 5% raise in 24 and a 2.5% in 25. So we've given them a cost of living raise every year. Plus, we changed the way we do salaries for grades for the deputies. So one year they got 2 raises because they got a change in grade and they got the cost of living raise.
Right.
So, I mean, we try to take care of our first responders.
Yes.
Yeah. EMS, and I didn't know this until Jacob Starnes told me that EMS is paid more than they are in Greenwood County. Not EMS people. And sheriff's deputies are comparable with that. Now, where we are lagging, I think, and where we've got to do a better job is with the detention center and the dispatch.
Right.
We got to catch them up. But how do you do that? It's another thing I've learned in this job. One of my biggest, one of the council's, I should say, biggest efforts is in trying to find the money to do the things that we need for the county. Nobody likes to pay taxes.
Right.
I don't like to pay taxes. Excuse me, I'm getting somebody called me on the phone.
There you go.
And it's going off in my hearing.
I got you.
So I'm sorry. I
Understand.
apologize for that. But anyhow, we finding the funding. Everybody likes to have first class stuff, and we want the best for Saluda County. But finding the money to do it is often hard.
Right.
I find that the biggest part of my job is going out and talking to people, talking to our delegation, talking to different groups, not groups, but organizations to try to get grants, to try to get money to do things.
Yes.
And uh, it's just hard. It
Yeah.
just takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, but that's what I'm elected to do, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. I think I've been okay at it. I could do better, I believe. I mean, I can't write the check myself, but I can get out and try to find the money for them. Another thing we're working on is comprehensive plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's a plan for our county for growth. And the most important part of it is a tool. And a lot of people are putting a lot of emphasis on the comprehensive plan, and I'm not saying it is not important.
Right.
It is important,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a tool. It's just a guideline. It stays within the county. We don't submit it to anybody. I mean, it's not submitted to any state agency or anything for approval. It stays within the county. Now, the most important part of that is the land use section. And when we saw the comprehensive plan as it was, we knew that we needed to improve the land use section.
Right.
So we're working on that. I've been with people from an economic developer expert. I've been with Rick Green from the Council of Governments, the Upper Savannah Council of Governments. He's probably the expert on that. We has to have 2 maps. People are looking for maps in the whole plan, and you can't have them in there if you want them.
Right.
You don't. It's not a requirement. Now, for the land use plan, if you want to do zoning, you got to have maps. You got to have 2 maps. You got to have one map that shows where you are now, and one map that shows where you want to go. We're working on those 2 maps. I had hoped to get this done by last October. That didn't happen.
Right.
Then it came into this year, and saw we needed to change the plan, the land use portion. So we're working on that, getting the 2 maps for that. I intended to do second reading next week at county council, but no, I'm not. I've taken it off the agenda. That's one thing the chairman does, is write the agenda for the council meeting. So I said, no, let's don't put that on there. Let's hold back till we can finish getting the maps like we want, finish some of the verbiage in the section, and we will present it in the May meeting for second reading. We'll do a public hearing on it in June, and then we'll have the third reading in July. It gives plenty of time for us to send it back through the planning commission to get it checked again through Upper Savannah. I want a lot of people to look at this to be sure that that section is right, because we need zoning, and that's been the whole reason for pushing this comprehensive plan in the first place, to get zoning in the county, to control. A lot of people don't like that Z word, but for growth, we have to have some kind of plan. We don't want to have, people in Saluda County want it to remain rural. They want to keep our rural nature. That's why our logo is timeless heritage. We want to keep that heritage. So, but you got to have some kind of growth. So there's a happy balance somewhere in there where we don't want cookie cutter home development. I don't think anybody wants to see Saluda County filled up with developments where the neighbors are 10 feet apart. No. So, but there are places that we do need to have, and that's called high density housing. So, up around the lake, around the municipalities, and until we get zoning though, an important thing to remember is that it's the Wild West out there.
Right.
I can't tell you what to do with your land. Saluda County cannot say, Burton,
Mm-hmm.
you got to do this with your land.
Yeah.
Because you can do whatever you want to right now.
Right.
A lot of people, one of the things I want to people to be aware of, and I don't think they are, is our timber industry.
Yes.
Saluda County is held together with cows, chickens, and trees.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people all the time when I go to these conferences and stuff, that's our thing. That's what we did, cows, chickens, and trees. Well, the trees part of that is in danger. Where sawmills are closing, paper mills are closing, the pulpwood industry is going the way of the textile industry. And we've got to work hard to do something about that. And that's one of the things I do. I talk to our legislators. I'll talk to our national legislators and say, look, y'all got to help us out here. You know, you got to quit. You got to do something about all this paper that's coming from China and all this wood that's coming from Canada. It's putting our guys out of business. All right, so let's say you took your farm and 20 years ago and you planted row crops. All right, and you said, well, I can make more money if I do trees. So you plowed up your row crops and you planted trees. Now those trees are ready to be harvested. But you ain't got a market for them. So now you've got a big investment. You've got 500 acres of land. You can't do anything with it. We have people say all the time, we need industry, we need industry. Well, the biggest drawback to that is infrastructure. Sewer. Not water, not roads, sewer. If you got a business and you employ 20 people and you want to have out there, if you don't have sewer, you've got to have a septic tank. Can you imagine how big a drain field you're going to have for that septic tank? If you've got 20 people plus all the industrial uses for water that you got to get rid of. So, to go back to what I'm talking about. It's a big circle. I'm bringing it back. You have your land. There's no sewer, no water either. So what are you going to do with that land? A solar farm company comes to. And I'm going to be the first to admit, I'm not a big fan of solar farms. I don't like them. They're ugly. And I don't think they produce enough electricity. But that's not my call. So you've got your land that you've had in timber, and now somebody comes to you and says, well, we'll give you $5,000 an acre to lease your property. Well, you can jump on that. And Saluda County cannot tell you not to. What we can do, because we have an ordinance on solar farms, is we can tell that company, look, you got to have a setback. You've got to have a boundary. You've got to have so that the little critters can go through your property there. You're not stopping them from going where they want to go. And most importantly, you've got to have a plan to dispose of those panels when they're not worth anything. So that's what we can do. What we can't do is tell you not to build. If you want to build it, you can build it. You can put it there. Now, we can try to get something out of it, and that's with ad valorem taxes. Now, first 5 years, let's say we don't give you a fee in lieu of taxes. People fuss because we give a fee in lieu of taxes. If we don't give a fee in lieu of taxes for the first 5 years, that company comes, they jump through all the hoops. First of all, they come to us asking for that fee because it's a ticket they have to punch to get their financing. All right, so they punch that ticket or not, but they come to us to get that fee. So we're saying, all right, well, half a loaf is better than no loaf. So you pay a fee in lieu of taxes, which is a set amount over a period of time, and we get something. Mostly the school gets something. With ad valorem taxes, it's a 60-40 split between the school district and the county. So the school gets most of ad valorem taxes. But those are things that people have talked about. And I know I've rambled and I'm not real clear at what I got left. Oh, shoot, I got plenty of time. Okay, one more thing. Where's that come from?
Sales tax.
Yeah. That I want to talk about that I've heard about. People are criticizing. There's two really sharp people in the county employees. And last year, they saw a need for better communication. I'll be the first to admit, we have a problem communicating. The county, there's a lot of stuff that if I had a long time, I could sit here and tell you about that I think people would.
But God says,